Learning is a beautiful thing. Learning is something that we are naturally prone to do, and it usually is an exciting experience. But it's also a great way to avoid doing things, to hide, because we think we don't know enough yet. It's easier to watch video recipes than to actually cook. It's less stressful to read about relationships than to go and start a difficult conversation. It's safer to continue hiding behind the excuse that you are inexperienced and to stay a student than it is to start teaching. How do I know this? I love to learn. I love to read books and take classes. But if I'm not mindful enough, I start believing that the best learning comes from a teacher's whiteboard. When in fact the best learning comes from doing. Doing it wrong, doing it right, experimenting. Knowing something or not knowing it makes no difference. Only the use of knowledge can generate physical results. Unapplied knowledge melts our brains. Applied knowledge evolves us. We have to do what we've learned, otherwise it's useless. We are not evolving by simply learning new ideas, but by creating stuff. And stuff is never created by studying, only by action. You'd rather fail at your own startup than succeed at reading about someone else's victory. You can spend years reading advice from hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, wise men and creative geniuses, or you can start doing and learning your own lessons. We must always be open to knowledge, but in the same time switch the accent from studying to implementing. Learning is a passive action, it's consuming content. Compare it with doing things, which is an active action, creating something that didn't previously exist without your input. We should strive for a 20% learning, 80% doing ratio, and not 99% learning and 1% doing, which is usually the case for most people. Imagine having a wonderful garden with a huge tank of water installed there, for irrigation of flowers and trees. But you'll be using it by opening the tap just for 1 glass a day. And in the same time you'll still continue to fill in the tank, which is awful. You have plenty of water available, but all the plants around you are dying because of drought. Even watching this video is just a passive action for you, it will not generate results. We should all stop consuming content and start creating something, anything. Yeah, but I don't know what to do. Well, you have to be willing to be honest with yourself, because 9 times out of 10 that's not true. You can hide as much as you want, but deep down you feel what you should do, just that you are afraid. And that's normal, that's absolutely human to feel so. But it's also human to look your fear in the eyes and move towards it. Shivering, crying, being very uncomfortable, but moving forward. Because all the information consumption in the world will never give you a feeling of fulfillment. And even if you really can't figure out what to do, the answer is the same. Start doing anything. And through trial and error, you will soon know what you love doing and what you absolutely hate. Okay, I know what to do, but I don't know how to do it. Of course you don't. No one ever knew how to do something for the first time until they did it. There is no other way around, just through. Through doing what you don't know how to do, you learn how to actually do it. And failure is much more efficient in providing lessons than success is. Not knowing how to do something is hardly a reason not to do it. It may sound confusing, but it's the simplest thing possible. The best way to do something is to do it. Learning is still my favorite way of procrastinating, because I keep telling myself that the time spent reading is very useful, which is not really true. Studying is a necessary element, but we overdo it so badly. Please don't think that learning is actually doing something, because it's not. It generates 0 results. The most efficient way for learning is acting, doing, observing, adjusting, and then repeating everything over and over again. Infinite. Knowledge is power only when acted upon, otherwise it's just potential, and without action knowledge is meaningless.